pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome everybody to the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. I am Mike Demoni, once again up in the booth for this Dynamite series that just started last week. We are in round 2, live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Set to go 100 laps. They'll have 4 sets of fuel and 4 sets of tires and 55% fuel. There's only 45 pit stalls, but it looks like that won't be an issue tonight. Last week we had upwards of 60 drivers try and take a qualifying bid here. This time it looks like we're going to be right around 42 or so. So like everybody who wants to make the race will be able to do so. Looking at last week's winner. Last week's winner was Thomas Lane Jr. Rodney Kramer was second. Timmy Reed was third. Tom Dixon fourth. And Everett Lane brought home the top 5. Right now, fastest on track is the number 5 Chevy of Jason Finsler. Fastest lap he ran was a 30.43, so we got about 54 seconds left here in this practice session. Then they'll hit the grid and qualify. See who can take down the pole position. Right now, this is basically a money race. Any driver can win the pole. They'll win $10 if they do. top 30 drivers in points. If you finish first place, cash prize is 50 if you're in the top 16 in points, and finish second, cash winnings are 30. 17th through 30th, and you finish first, it's 40. Finish second, it's 20. And then they'll also, at the end of this, there is a championship prize. So run all the races, get to at least be in the talk for that championship money there. So they are done with practice. Now they'll head over to qualifying. It is a 2-lap qualifier. You have to qualify to make the race. If you don't qualify, they will not be able to run. So it looks like Eric Carter is going to be one of the first ones out here. Look here, add a little bit of the race info. It is Charlotte Motor Speedway, 1.45 mile track. Track temperature is 104, ambient air is 82, so it could get a little slick out there. We'll see how these trucks are handling once they make it through this practice round. Oh, Eric got a little loose there, slid through the corner. So that is going to slow down his time considerably there. See if we got Chad Stearns in here. Chad Stearns is a 05 Toyota. See him running sometimes in Western states. Right here on Sim Racing Media. Brav McCracken got up there for 30.71, but Stadium Sabah with a 36.1 is up on pole at the moment. Brennan Gregg ran last week, was a 36.7 that time by. Thomas Lane Jr., last week's winner, got a 36.4. Not quite good enough for the pole, but is sitting P2 at the moment. Brennan Gregg bounced back and got a 30.57 on his second lap. Roy Hyde with a 30.59 is good enough for second. Ryan Rose got a 36.1, and Roy Hyde bounced back. Or Thomas Lane bounced back and got a 30.59. So it looks like we got quite a few that have qualified here. Mark Jackson finishing up his second lap with a 31. Ooh, a 30.62. Like everybody's getting that second lap is just a little bit faster than the first. Got a 5 of Jason Finsler with the 31.35, and then that time there jumps up to pole with a 30.39. We got some guys throwing down some haymakers at each other here. Roy Hyde with a 30.48. Timmy Reed with a 30.52. Ryan Zacrute with a 30.55. And Brennan Gregg with a 30.57 are the top 5 in qualifying right now. See if anybody's left. Looks like we have quite a few that haven't qualified yet, so we'll see what's going on there. the number 12 of Ian Barford with a 31.16. Goes a little bit better that time with a 30.80. Quite a few that didn't qualify for, so we'll see what happens here. After the warm-up. Because I know they said you have to qualify to get in the race. So last week we saw Timmy Reed and a bunch of these other guys here come out and basically dominated the race with the Team Extreme logos here. The 052 Brad Slagle got the pole last week, led a lot of the laps. Just didn't quite have enough to bring home the win. He led 16. Timmy Reed led 16 as well. Got a pretty fast truck out here. And Blake Bolmaker, 42. Jackson. Could be just about getting set. Well, it is 100 laps here at Charlotte. And it's not just regular Charlotte, like the new Charlotte, it's Legacy. So these guys will be slipping around and sliding a little bit. See what they can do with this track. A few of the guys having the new Craftsman banner put on their truck. Jason Finsler, fastest in practice right now with the 30.53. They should be all nice and warmed up and ready to go as soon as we get to that starting grid. See how many drivers we actually have in the race. Right. They are that here. We'll run down the field momentarily. Get the grid brought up here. We got Jason Finsler on the inside. Roy Hyde outside. Row 2, Timmy Reed. Ryan Zakrut. Row 3, Brennan Gregg. Thomas Lane Jr. Row 4, Ryan J. Rose and Nidam Sabah. And go back to Dan Witt and Mark Jackson. Michael Mayu, Eric Carter. Go to Trav McCracken, James Mohan, Chad Stearns, David Applegate, Ian Barford, Chris Gore, Blake Bullmaker, Dale Rapp, Chris Felsner, and Joshua Jurgen. We got Robert Amaral and Nicholas Heslin, Victor Solano, and Philip Isaac, Hayden Cummins, Alan Isaac, Jason Nicholas, and Adam Burbich, Nazari Idora, and Morgan Bayard. And then Jacob Morgan and Michael Allspear, Christopher Bammer, Brian Kimbler, Chris McGuire, Marc-Andre Turgan, John Royer, Lyle Bonnet, Alex Fernant. And that is where we are going to go as they take the green flag. Trying to go through 45 cars in a lap is tough here at Charlotte. Jason Felsner gets the jump, gets down to that inside lane, pulls just in front of Timmy Reed, floats up to the mid pack there. And here we go. Brennan Gregg trying to make his way on that high line. Got Roy Hyde down there on the inside. Ryan Rose. Ray Zerkert. They're starting to basically single file out down behind them. Mark Jackson back there. And that good wrench number 1. And we are working on lap 2. Jason Finsler made the fastest lap of the race that time by with the 30.55. Timmy Reed staying right behind him. Brennan Gregg is running about a car length up the track, just trying to maybe overlap corner just a little bit. Dan Witt going back here. Trav McCracken. Chris Gore. Looks like we have a couple guys pitting already. Oh, yellow flag is out. Like Chad Stearns went around. Oh! Chad Stearns just get ran over. The 32 there just runs right into Chad Stearns' back bumper, turns him sideways, hits him right in the door, sends him up into the wall. The 30 just gets by Victor Solano. But the 32 there of Joshua McCoy just ran him over. All right, so that will reset the field a little bit. Made it through 4 laps before we had that caution. Get these guys reset here. Like we have about half the field that jumped out after qualifying there. So it looks like we got 33 in the field right now. So down a little bit from where we first started, but these guys are still anxious to put on a show here. That David's Racing Products number 5 Chevy of Jason Finsler. Has been up front the whole time. Put down a heck of a qualifying lap. Brought it right back with race pace as well. Timmy Reed in that Alienware number 256. Back to where he was last week, running up towards the front. See if we can get these guys settled in here. You guys are watching this live on Facebook, go ahead and hit us up there, like, share, follow, you know the deal. We'll get this thrown up there on the good old YouTube shortly. Like they're getting stacked up here. Trying to get everybody where they need to be to get this race back going. Lights are out on the pace truck, going down the backstretch here. To see these guys bust their way down here. Making their way through the corner shortly. Pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn. Jason Finsler has them ready to go. And as you can notice here, there is no Geico restart zone because that was not a thing back in the legacy days here at Charlotte. Jason gets a huge jump there. He's able to get almost a trunk length and a half ahead of Brendan Gregg. Floats up in front of Timmy Reed. And Gregg's going to try and make his way down to the inside of the track. Like Reed lost a little bit of pace. Now he's looking to follow Gregg down through the tri-oval. Ooh, Reed just got a huge run right into the back end of Brendan Gregg. Brendan Gregg saves it. Everybody kind of checks up, and we stay green. Looks like Reed just had a massive run there and wasn't expecting Gregg to check up as much as he did going into the corner. And that was the end of that. Heck of a drive there by Gregg not to lose control after getting that left rear quarter panel pushed in just a little bit. That caused Timmy Reed to float back. Now he's back in 5th position. As the 58 bounces off the wall 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Don't know what is going on with that 58. Looks like he just lost his steering wheel. And he is headed to the pits. But while that is going on, 0.3 of a second to the good is Finsler over Hyde. Battling back in 3rd place, Brendan Gregg and Timmy Reed. Hyde's got about 0.6 of a second ahead of these drivers here. Like we got quite the battle back here with Eric Carter, Dan Witt, and Mark Jackson kind of all battling it out back here in the second group. That first pack's kind of drove away a little bit. Looks like 2 by 2. We'll see if these guys kind of can get their trucks hooked up, make that run towards the front. Looks like they're spread out behind them, almost 3 wide, as we got Ray Zerkut having a little bit of an issue there in that 30-minute. Oh. Victor Solano. Looks like he had a little bit of an issue there. Go back and take a look here. Looks like the 42 gets behind him, but the 30 hits that wall, slides in front of the 7 of James Mohan, and around he goes in the infield. Doesn't look like anybody really gets there. Just nowhere for James to go there. Still basically kept it relatively clean here after that. Looks like Victor Solano just got a little bit loose into that outside wall, checked up ever so slightly, and just got a little bit of tap from behind. Lucky Dog making his way around the track. Set back up here. Their little fun race before these guys start their regular season in April. Thomas said he wanted to have a little fun, so threw this together. SuperSpeedway Blitz, racing several different tracks over the next couple weeks here. Got Charlotte Legacy tonight. Then there's Michigan. Then they go to the New Atlanta, Nashville SuperSpeedway, and it all wraps up at Talladega. So a 6-race sprint here to the finish here. They do have a couple other leagues that they put on. If you guys are interested in joining, I'm sure you could just hit them up. Race on Fridays and Saturdays. Pace light should be going out on the pace truck this time by. These guys all stacked up and ready to turn them loose for the last laps here. They do have limited fuel supply, so we should be seeing them pit anytime here. The other thing, they've been basically racing without anybody forcing the issue too much, going 3 wide, but now that is game as it can be after they pass lap 18. So here they go again. Jason Finsler has the button, and he will turn them loose as soon as that green flag goes. And he is down and away. Doesn't quite get the jump he had last time. Last time he was out quite a little ways. Roy Hyde's able to stay right with him on that high side, and they are wrecking behind him. Wrecking. So it looks like guy went into the wall. And we have the 18-17 trying to avoid him. So there they go again. Looks like they just looks like some of the drivers were trying to either warm their tires up and got into that outside wall just a little bit, like it sucked them in. But driving around with these caution laps cooled down those tires. You hit that loud pedal just a little too quick, and guess what happens? You spin the tires every time. You guys don't want to. You don't want to get on the gas too fast, but you don't want to get on it, or you don't want to get on it too hard. But you need to just kind of, I guess, roll the throttle more than just stand on it. Especially once these tires, I mean, they've had, 20 laps on them, but about half of them have been caution laps, so they warm up, cool down, warm up, cool down. And that is just something that happens. So the top three haven't changed since qualifying. Jason Finsler, Roy Hyde, Timmy Reed, 1, 2, 3. Qualified 1, 2, 3. Biggest mover. Let's see. Looks like this number 15 here of Sean Rohr up 26 spots. Another big mover, Christopher Bellisner, up 14, currently sitting just inside the top 10 at P9. Eric Carter up 7. At that 28 machine, rolling a little bit. But everybody is still chasing this number 5 Chevy of Jason Finsler. Making here. We are just about a quarter of the way through the race here. Make their way out of turn 4. Pace truck is in. Number 5 brings them to the green flag. He is down and away. Like he gets about a car length lead here. Floats up to that high side, trying to oval that corner just a little bit as he comes into turn one. Timmy Reed right behind him. Roy Hyde just to that outside lane. So it looks like everybody's kind of picked where they want to be. Looks like that middle high lane and then drive it down into the corner. Seems to be the fastest way around the track. Go back here. We have Eric Carter and Brennan Gregg battling back and forth. Gregg's on the high side. Carter down on the low side. Then you go back to Mark Jackson and Michael Mayu making his way through the field, up 4 positions right now. Eric Carter clear down almost to the apron there, but is still maintaining pace here. Gregg's up almost into the wall, trying to see if he can get that high line to start working as we work through lap 26 here. Back through the field, we got Thomas Lane Jr., last week's winner, sitting in P10 right now, down 4 positions from where he started. Trav McCracken back there in 11th. Joshua McCoy in 12th. Nicholas Heslin in 13th. James. Ooh. Dale Rapp. Let's see. Got Dale Rapp there. Right in the middle of your screen here. Like he, oh. Just in front of him. Let's see if we can see who that is. Oh, there we go. I have to switch cameras. Get a better view here. So you see the number 51 just to the inside of that 32, clips him just a little bit. James Monahan slows down, just makes his way through. Then you have the 30, the 052. And you got Dale Rapp back here trying to break through it as well. The 26 clips a little bit there. 52, 32, and then that 51. Is that Joshua McCoy? That might be Josh. No. Nicholas Heslin. Let's see here. Let's go from the cockpit here. So here's on board the 51 of Nicholas Heslin here. You can see him get this run down on the inside. Looks like he's going to try and pull just below that 32. 32 stays relatively middle, but you see his wheel just barely go back up the track. Turns him sideways. And he's going to go right into that outside wall. And then here in a second, you're going to see him hit at 32 again, get flipped upside down by that 52, and around he goes. So, we had our gymnastics for the day. Like everybody elected to pit that time by. So we had a few guys pit early, lap 16 on one of the cautions. Everybody else on 28, 29. So everybody else pitted this time. A couple guys pitted a little bit earlier on lap 16, which is what we have here in Victor Solano and Sean Rohr. and Blake Bolmaker. They've all elected to take some track position. Got 70 laps to go. So we got top 2 there. It looks like the guy with the freshest tires of the top 5 is going to be Ian Barford, sorry. In that number 12 Chevy. Making their way through turn number 2 at Charlotte, down that backstretch. Get locked and loaded and ready to go for the rest of the race. We'll see how this restart works as the 30 and 15 are on old tires. I'm going to imagine that that inside row is going to have a little bit better restart with who's there. And I bet we see the 9 of Chris Gore pass almost to the outside if that 15 does not get going. So that is where we're at as the pace truck dives in. And we are down and away. Looks like Solano got a good run there. Floats up to the high side, trying to oval that corner a little bit more. And Jason Finsler just made his way from about 5th already up to 2nd. And looking for that lead again. Oh, Victor's trying to close down just a little bit on him. Jason slides up in front of him, gets that truck in the clear, and he is back to leading this race here. John Rohr threw in the towel early, just tried to get a little bit better track position. Didn't want to hold any of these guys running up here up too much. Then you go back to Michael Mayu and James Mohan back there in 7th and 8th. Christopher Felsner is in 9th, up 14 positions. Roy Hyde, P10 at the moment. And Finsler just decided, I've had enough of this. Threw down the fastest lap of a race with a 30.41. But judging by the fact that everybody came down pit road on lap 28 or so, I'm going to assume that fuel run's going to be anywhere between 30 and 35 laps. So we should see these guys come down a couple more times once they get there. Timmy Reed back up into 2nd. Eric Carter's hanging around up here in 3rd. Oh, Victor Solano went into that outside wall. Just saw him check up just a little bit after hitting it. Blake Bolmaker is leading this other group here as they're getting almost 3 wide. Roy Hyde forcing it up on the high side, gets into the back of Rohr and then into the wall. Heck of a save there. John Rohr just about got ran over a little bit there. Michael Mayu and James Mohan side by side. Like they're going to try and make that pass on Rohr here. Floats up to the high side. Brennan Gregg's trying to make his way back up towards the front. Up front most of the race. Elected to pit there and found himself back in the field a little bit. Dan Witt, number 37, has that 37 Toyota for sale. Joshua McCoy side by side with Roy Hyde now. And the 12 of Barford just in front of them. One of Mark Jackson trying to stick his nose in here. Like he's just to the inside quarter panel of Hyde, and he's going to see if he can make that run stick through the corner. Hyde keeps hitting these guys at just the wrong time, gets caught up again in traffic. Didn't want to force it 3 wide there. Got that Honey Bunny number 34 working there. Ooh, gets a little bit out of shape. Everybody has to check up behind him. But everybody stays good. The 052 of Brad Slagle just has not had the speed here at Charlotte that he shown last week at Daytona. Hayden Cummins in that Red Bull. Oh, wrecking just in front of him, but looks like we stay green as it goes up. Let's take a look here at what happened. John Rohr jumps down to the apron there, causes the 40 to check up into the 22. Let's see here. The 40 checks up just a little bit, gets rear-ended by the 22, bounces off the 15, and stays going. A heck of a drive there by all involved. Get back to the race here. Up front, it's still Jason Finsler making his way towards halfway here, trying to see how many laps he can lead tonight. And as we do that, I am going to step away, and you won't miss anything. We'll be right back shortly. This is Sim Racing Media on Facebook. You're watching the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. All right, well, cut into our break a little bit here as we were watching there. Looks like we had a couple issues here. Let's see if we can go back and take a look. All right, here we go. Like the 30 of Victor Solano gets a little loose. 32. .32 got bumped again. Crazy. Ping pong balls and around they go. Holy crap. So that was some heck of some ping pong balls there. That's what happens when you're driving as fast as these guys are here at the SuperSpeedway. So, everybody hitting pit road on lap 47 here. So we got a few laps there of green flag action. And we'll see what happens here. It looks like we have a little bit of lap traffic mixed in with the leader here. Timmy Reed's back in second. James Mohan is third. Eric Carter was in fourth. So we'll get these guys all stacked up and ready to go again. All right, so we got the 36 here up front for the moment. The 256, 7, and the 5. Looks like he's had a few issues, has he? Not so much on the right side of that truck, but definitely on the left side. Christopher Fleisner and Timmy Reed 1-2 right now. James Mohan is in third. Jason Finsler back in fourth. Get these guys stacked up. Like they're quite the gap between them all here shortly. Made the comment last week of that neon green. We are halfway through our race here. Timmy Reed on the high side. Christopher Fleisner on the low side. All right, here we go. Down and ready to go. Timmy Reed floats almost to that wall, trying to get a little bit better run in that corner. Has the fastest truck on the racetrack right behind him, pushing him towards the lead. And Jason Felsner and Reed are hooked up here as James Mohan jumps up in front of Michael Mayu. And they are going to go as Jason Finsler just made that huge pass down on the inside, bumps Timmy Reed, and slides right across the whole field. Looks like he took a little bit too much speed and just turned that truck sideways right into the pit box as well. So here we go. He gets a heck of a run Slides up the corner. Let's see if we can get a different look here. Take a look off the nose here. Looks like they both just kind of come together a little bit. It looks like Felsner slides up just a little bit. And it looks like Reed comes down a little bit as well. And then they both just get hooked together. And around they go. Nothing you really can do about that once they got hooked up. Everybody kind of spreads out. Nobody really runs over anybody. Looks like Timmy Reed's able to stay where he needs to be. It looks like the biggest beneficiary of that is James Mohan. Several cars elect to put it on the hauler. They look back through here. Got about 22 still taken apart. 21 maybe. So just like last week, see that neon green theme down on that inside lane. 28 of Eric Carter is going to be up on that high side. You can see he has a little bit of damage on that inside. Yeah, just a little bit of damage it looks like. Just pushed it in just a touch. Down there. Joshua Durgan. Repping that truck series. That does start in April. So you guys should be getting ready to get stacked up and ready to go. So Mohan and Carter on the front row. Definitely not the way I envisioned this race going. Guys are gonna put on a heck of a show these last 45 laps though. Once again, if you are watching on the Facebook Live, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Tell me who you think's gonna win, what you think you want to see. Mayu gets a pretty good jump with the 7. Looks like the 28 of Eric Carter got going a little bit too soon. Had to check up just a bit to stay behind Mohan there. So it's Team Extreme back up front. 37 of Dan Witt making his way up into 3rd, passing Eric Carter after Carter had to check up just a little bit. Mark Jackson back into 5th. Ray Zurkert in 6th. Thomas Lane Jr. making his presence felt here up to 6 right now. Same thing that happened last week. He was running towards the back, kind of stayed out of all the trouble and wound up at the front at the end. As the 42 of Blake Bolmacher down on his inside as they race side by side down the backstretch. Lane seems to be content racing about middle there, but he's going to want to have to get down here at some point. And that 42 just is not going to let him. Go back and take a look here. Oh, looks like the guy who ran most of the race is back down pit lane again. Thomas Lane Jr. into that outside wall, had a little hiccup there. Dan Witt now driving away from James Mohan. 0.3 of a second at the moment. Mark Jackson and Michael Mayu side by side coming through that tri-oval. Looks like Eric Carter's fading back just a little bit. The 39 of Ray Zurkert got a little bit loose there, but he is able to maintain his spot there. Lane Jr. looks like he fixed his issue after running the outside wall and got going straight again. But Dan Witt is out to over a second lead right now. 40 laps to go. These guys are spreading out back in the field. Looks like they're 3 wide. And I'm sure that's not where that. I see who that was stuck in the middle there. Looks like that's Brad Seigel. No? Oh, it's Michael Mayu. Faded back quite a ways, got stuck in the middle there. And just doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with the leaders at the moment. Currently sitting in 10th after getting passed there by Hayden Cummins. Dan Witt has found his way to the front and he is driving away from the field. He is out by almost 2 seconds. Mark Jackson, James Mohan hooked up and are trying to make some ground up on him. But even with that, they are still falling behind. So as these guys get set, we're going to go ahead and try and do what I tried to do a little bit ago and take a break from the TNGG Super Speedway Blitz. I am Mike Demoni on Sim Racing Media, and I will be back in just one moment.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Didn't miss anything as we took our break there. Once again, this is the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. We are live from Charlotte Motor Speedway Legacy Edition. And these guys are putting on a heck of a show at the moment. Had a few little cautions there early, but Dan Witt has now decided to show his dominance as he is out to over 3 seconds over second place Ray Zerkrut and Ian Barfold. Hayden Cummins up 25 spots, sitting in P4 right now in that 17 Toyota Red Bull. Christopher Felsner is up 18 spots in that 36 Chevy, sitting P5. Like we had a few guys that were up front kind of drop towards the back here. Come find James Mohan. Started that restart up in P1. He is now faded back to 8th position. He's still up 8 from where he started, but definitely not where he thought this race was going to go. So as we talk about that, we're going to see if guys going to elect to pit a little bit early here. Because we found out from the way these guys have been running that the first run is going to be, or the fuel run's going to be about 30 or so laps. So we're just inside that now. We'll see if anybody elects to come down pit road early. But we've been inundated with cautions early, so if these guys elect to hold out a couple more laps to see what happens. It looks like we've got guys that have pitted on lap 46 and 52. Those are basically the two different type strategies, 7 laps, but that's not a terrible difference there. Watching these guys kind of battle back and forth here. As that 22 of Joshua Jernigan makes that pass on James Mohan. Looks like that gap has now stabilized between the leader and second place. But it's still not quite what they want to see because it's not even registering as a battle right now. So there you go. The gap is getting smaller. On lap 69, it was almost 3 seconds. Now it's down to just under 2, and it keeps getting a little bit smaller each time. So there you have it. You can see that Zerkrut is getting about a quarter of a second each time, except for that last lap. That last lap, he still got a little bit, but not quite what he was getting earlier. He doesn't have anybody really around him either because he's got almost a little over half-second gap back to third place now. And just as I say that, looks like a lot of drivers are checking to see what the pit window is going to be like here. Leaders aren't pitting, but a couple guys down the line are. So that's kind of going to shake up the way it's running on track. We'll have a few guys on fresh tires and a few guys on those older tires. We got Roy Hyde, Eric Carter, Chris Gore, and Alan Isaac all electing to pit this time. Like Alan Isaac had a bit of issue as we caught him back into his pit stall. Roy Hyde up there. Looks like James Mohan pitted on lap 73. There's a few. Looks like the leader's coming into pit. See if that's going to bring everybody else down, and it looks like it will. Christopher Fleisner has not pitted yet. He last pitted on lap 52, so he's got a few more laps. Haven't talked about David Applegate all race. He is currently sitting in P2. He is a little ways back there, but he still has that 57 Ford making his way inside the top 3 for the time being. He will have to pit. He last pitted on lap 53. Joshua Jernigan is also needing to pit. Thomas Lane Jr. heads to pit lane right now. So we'll see after pit stops how this all shakes out. Looks like almost everybody elected to go with 4 tires and fuel. The only one that didn't, if I'm reading this right, is going to be Hayden Cummins. Decided to just get maybe fuel and right side tires. So now the other leaders elect to come in, giving the lead to Joshua Jernigan here. James Mohan is just past to get his lap back, it looked like. Or one of his lap backs. Oh. Fastest car on track is Roy Hyde here. Just ran a 30.38. So we have the Red Bull Toyota and an all-red for sale Toyota. Going to be battling up here for the lead. I don't know that it'll be much of a battle, as Dan Witt is just so much faster than it seems everybody else is on track right now. Looks like he might have been playing a little bit of possum early in the race, and now he has just decided it is his time, and he is going to take advantage of every spot he can. He does have 3 lap trucks up in front of him. Makes it down to the inside of the 9 of Chris Gore there. Has the 18 and the 15 to deal with. 15 Sean Rohr, and the 18 is Alan Isaac. Alan Isaac is on the lead lap. He's the last truck on the lead lap at the moment. So 29. 29, that's Philip Isaac. So the Isaacs were running together there. So Alan Isaac is still trying to stay on that lead lap, but I do not believe he's going to be able to. Dan Witt is just too quick. Once he finds the spot, he's going to make that pass. So 18 laps to go. Dan Witt had a 2.5 lead now. See what happened here. Like the 5 tries to go down low there. Gets rear-ended by the 22, sent sideways. Oh, just outside of pit lane. Looks like somebody was a little bit of sleep there. Didn't notice that the 5 was coming down pit lane, was close enough to that apron. Kind of tagged him in the back bumper there. But up front, it is still Dan Witt. Pit stops are done. And his crew was able to get him back out front. We got about a 1.5-second gap between him and second place. And 3 lap trucks between them as well. So here, Zurkut is starting to make a little bit of ground here, still dealing with these 3 lap trucks. Try and move to the high side. See if he's going to be able to make that pass and try and run down Dan Witt. Dan Witt is quite a ways ahead here. "13 laps. Take a ride maybe online. Track with it. Go to cockpit cam here. See how he's able to get around this track so quick. That's a lap here. On board with Dan Witt. Up 9 positions from where he started. He is out to over 2.25 second lead at the moment. And I don't think gonna matter too much here. As you can see, second place gets a little bit of time back, but then just gives it right back on a couple laps there as well. Having to deal with that lap traffic kind of slows him down. 12 of Ian Barford making his way up into third place, up 17 positions. Mark Jackson is currently sitting P4, so this is one of the closer battles on track, as the front 3 have pretty much gapped each other almost. Roy Hyde, about a 1.5 back. Nine laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz will be headed next week to Michigan for 90 laps, 180 miles. Then they'll come back after that with the New Atlanta for 100 laps. Then go to Nashville Superspeedway and Talladega, all before wrapping up, having a little break and getting into their truck season that starts in April. Dan Witt is losing a little bit of ground. We'll see if Ray's Circuit has enough to make it any sort of race of it here as they come to the end of the race. Ian Barford's trying to hang on for third. Mark Jackson in fourth. Has this almost 7-second gap over fifth of James Mohan. So the top 4 seem like they're in a pretty safe position at the moment. But as I said, it looks like that gap is closing ever so slightly. Might have stabilized a little bit between 1 and 3/4 seconds to 2 seconds here. Dan Witt is just putting on a clinic. Four laps to go. Spotter for Witt has got to be saying just hit your marks and bring this one home. Look back through the field a little bit here, but these guys have gotten pretty well stretched out. Two laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air. Dan Witt driving away again. Over a 2-second lead at the moment. Nice and smooth through 3 and 4. Coming to the white flag. Down the backstretch one final time for Dan Witt. Dan Witt wins the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz Charlotte Legacy Race. Ray Zerkert in second. Ian Barford in third. So basically that solid red Toyota with the for sale sign comes in and wins the race here. Let these guys get through here. Let's see if we can get an interview with somebody here. Like there is one set up in Discord, so we will just be talking, looks like, to our winner here. Hey, Dan, Mike up in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, man. Heck. Oh, hang on. Heck of a race there, Dan. Kind of hung out towards the back, towards the beginning part of the race. Major move and just basically drove away from the field. How was the race out there?
It was good to stay out of the trouble.
Yeah, definitely had a little bit of that early on, but later in the race looked like everybody figured it out, and you were able to basically work your way through traffic and then drive away. Nobody really had anything for you on that last green flag run.
Yeah, once I got in clean air, it was a little easier, to manage for sure.
Well, heck of a race. Congrats on winning. Anybody you want to thank for, this win tonight?
The TNGG series. I mean, thanks for the host.
Awesome.
I just found these guys just literally 5 or 20 minutes before the race started. So I've had maybe 3 laps of practice and hopped in here. So.
Well, dang, heck of a race. These guys got 4 more to go. So hope to see you back. Again, congrats on the win.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll be back for sure. Thank you.
All right, that was race winner Dan Witt. I don't see any of the other guys here in Discord, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. So Dan Witt brings home the win. Ray Zerkert in second. Ian Barford in third. Mark Jackson fourth. Roy Hyde in fifth. Christopher Felsner in sixth. David Applegate seventh. James Mohan eighth. Eric Carter ninth. Hayden Cummins 10th. Michael Mayu in 11th. Joshua Jernigan in 12th. Thomas Lane Jr. 13th. Brad Slagle in 14th. Robert Amaral in 15th, Trav McCracken, Alan Isaac, and Brendan Gregg round out the top 18. We've got Blake Ballmaker, Chris Gore, Philip Isaac, Jason Pinsler, dominant race at the beginning. Had that incident and brings home 22nd. Dale Rapp, Timmy Reed in 24th, Nadim Sabah in 25th, Joshua McCoy 26th, Victor Solano in 27th, Sean Rohr 28th, Nicholas Heslin and Ryan Rose round out the top 30. Chad Stearns, Jason Nicholas, and Michael Ballspire round out the trucks that took the green flag. So that is the race here. Round number 2 completed here from the TNGG SuperSpeedway Blitz. I am Mike Damoni, and we will see you next week live from Michigan. Good night.